A colloquium is a coming together of great men and women to speak in one voice on a very important topic that touches the nation and is usually in memory of or in honor of a great man or woman. The man we have come to speak together in one voice for today is not only a great man, he's not only a national icon, he's not only an amazing father, he's not just a super husband, he's a distinct human being created by God Almighty. And I think he's worthy of all the honor we give him today. And I ask that we give Almighty God a round of applause for blessing Nigeria, Africa, and the world with a son like Abba Sikuru Ayinde Barrister. To set this all off, ladies and gentlemen, we'll have a quick interview, and that Fuji man has shown me that you don't tell a Fuji man to sing Fuji. So I would like to invite Nice. Nice, where are you? Can I have a round of applause for Nice? I'd like to invite Nice to the microphone for a quick interlude. If he's not in the... Okay, he's here. Ladies and gentlemen, one of the most respected artists of his generation, Adigun Alakomichi Mile Titi. Don't stop clapping, don't stop clapping. God bless you. God bless you. God bless you. Do you want the band? Can the band support him? So that they will know that it's not DJ, drop it, track 4. Ladies and gentlemen, please, a round of applause for Nice! Gentlemen of the camera, okay, I think you are doing well there. Is this okay? Okay, you know what? Come to this side. Come to my own side. Don't worry. Are they okay here? Okay, Lord Mayor said I should tell all of you to squat. At least if I can't tell you, your guy can tell you to squat. So please squat. Let's squat. Let's squat. God bless you. Nice. Chairman said I should tell you that. But you know what I want you to sing? I want you to sing Ashawa Idewa Koso to Datu. That's what I want you to sing. Okay, let me tell you what Nice told me one time. He said he used to be a Fuji artist. Hello? That used to be a Fuji artist. Then one day he now went for a performance. You will say it yourself because you remember so. Ladies and gentlemen, to celebrate our father, the Abaki, please welcome our first interview for the day, Crown Prince of African music, the irrepressible Nice, Adigun Alakomichi Kala. gentlemen, I'm going. Is there any other artist around that does not sing Fuji? Any other artist around that does not sing Fuji? Okay. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I think it's important we start with what we've come to do. We'll have a panel later discussing the future of Fuji music. We'll be looking at Fuji music then, now, and tomorrow. We're looking at the evolutions that will happen. We're looking at how Fuji music, and a lot of people, when I was growing up, in my home, it was a taboo to listen to Fuji music. Because it was believed in those days that Fuji music was for who? Was for touts, was for never who else. But think about today. Anywhere you go in Nigeria, in Africa, in the world, that they are not playing Fuji music, then I kid you not, they are not having a party. That is the evolution that has happened. What then is the future of Fuji music? I was telling somebody sometime ago, I don't know if this is the right time to say it, that there are some genres of music that no longer exist in Nigeria. Everybody sings Fuji music. The gospel artists, when he wants to make money, turns it up. Or they turn it to Tumba, they play Fuji music. The juju musicians, when they want to turn it up, sing Fuji music. So what is the future of Fuji music? And oh, thank God, Maven Records is there. Hip-hop artists, when they want to turn it up and make some money, they sing what? No, if you are afraid to say it, I will say it. But let me hear from you. A hip-hop artist once sang, "Oh my Lord, I'm sorry. Sweet like a homie. Open up those sisters and say, Fuji right now." So, ladies and gentlemen, that is the kind of legend we are here to celebrate. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome us and tell us the idea behind all this, why he decided that this must be done. Permit me to welcome our leader, the Mayogu, not just of Yoruba land, but of the universe. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. K1, the ultimate. I think
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. All entertainers we are present, the Honorable Commissioner, who is here directly representing the leadership of government in the state, and so also our Honorable directly responsible for the constituency and constituency of the man we are here to do a lot about today. Honorable Youth, welcome you, and very many of our veterans, lover of Fuji music, the family of my late father, the wives, and the children, and his personal friends, Malaika. Like you said, and very many others, gentlemen of the press. So also, I'm sorry, the chairman of the Solo SPA, who is much concerned and directly involved in putting all this together, Honorable Payola Shedu, and his fellow from the legal group, Honorable Doctor, I welcome you. We are in your territory, and I believe we are covered. I welcome you all. Before going further, I will have to say a big thank you to the rest of the team that put this together for us. Members of our core group who we share this talk together. This has been a very tough responsibility for all of us to volunteer to do it because of the love we have for this genre of music, the man behind it, and very many of us who are still together today, and the future of it that we are looking at. So I want to say a big thank you to all of you for taking time and span over four months or 5 months thereabout to be able to come out with something like this. I've been hearing about people using the word colloquial. And I've gone in search. I'm not worried. But you need to seek from those that have knowledge what is colloquial. And exactly what it meant was just a few minutes ago said by the opera that colloquial means sitting together to discuss where we're coming from, where we are, and where we're heading to. That has to do with a particular entity, the person of late Sigma Ebenezer, whom we all hold in higher esteem. I give me honor and joy to see that Almighty God lead, and I follow to lead the rest of us to put this together. On behalf of myself and the rest of you, I say thank you and glory be to God. Now, to declare this open, permit me also to say, we'd like to tender apology that after more than 10 years that we lost Alaji Barrister, this is coming up. But so also, Yoruba people, they have their words to conquer many things and to describe exactly as it is to their faith. They will say, àsìkò tó yá Ọlọ́run òun ni a ṣe yẹn. Tí kì bá ṣe pé Ọlọ́run bá kọ́lé náà, kọ́lé ṣe lásán. 10 years and over, we started the next line of action about the man Barrister, about Fiji music, and the future of Fiji music. A lot has been put in place. Permit me also to say a big thank you to the brain behind Fuji and Opera, who happen to be my partner in the newfound direction to place Fuji music where it rightly and truly belongs. So many faces that I don't like was seen. It's very, very unfortunate. You might not like me, but you can't change the will of God on my person. But if you rather be better, you like me, and you join hands with me to search for a better thing. Not only to the man Wasiu, to those before Wasiu, the man who established this, the man who is a pathfinder, the man who created opportunity for those of us doing an endeavor today to have a forum where we can say we are practicing a trade. Ever since starting as a jewelry, then to the Fuji really, I started professionally when I was 15. And if I do not know calculation, I am 65 just a few days back. And I can see I put in 50 years of my life. And if you don't know and see anything good in that, I see something beautiful in that. So I glorify Almighty God. There has never been a time me and my great God ever share any animosity. None of that. Number one. Number two, and I start to be corrected among entertainers, with the exception of Baba Ebenezer. I think I am the most closer person as a musician in the same act with him during his lifetime till date. I've sang him gloriously. I learned a lot of rudiments of that business from him, and that pushes me forward today to be able to adjudge the very best in the life of Fuji music. Senior Ebenezer first colloquium. Glory be to God Almighty. That either dead or living, Senior Ebenezer will be the first musician, entertainer that the word colloquium will be used for. It's called another first, and this shall continue and shall outlive the glory of us that started it. Another thing of note before we go to the business of the day is to tell you in the last 2 years what we've been able to achieve when we started having waited 10 years. Why did we wait 10 years? We wait 10 years because there are a lot of ideas here and there. We need to sample, collect words from people. We need to seek knowledge from those that are very, very important in the trade of entertainment, arts, and culture, to be able to define a mode of what we should be doing to celebrate an enigma. Someone you believe no other thing can surpass him, to over-describe about the person. So it took me a longer time to seek support here and there. I called professionals, learned people, the fellows. I called majority of his personal people whom he never met during his lifetime, but they are dying of his music and his work. We sit down many times. I crisscross the world. Those of them in abroad, I find time to speak to them on the phone when it's necessary. We go to see each other. I go. I seek advice from people, and I waited on my time. So that is the journey, the first 10 years journey. And it's today I come out to say that's 10 years wait really worth it. Because by the time we step out, our first showing after the 10th year prayer at his residence, the headquarters of Fuji, a place he had already chosen for himself while he was alive, Fuji Chamber. Immediately after we rose from that prayer of that time, we set the ball rolling. We set the ball rolling and we started in earnest. That took us to the Alliance of Sin, Academic House at Ikoyi. This is where we first begin the journey. Symposium was organized and we do a lot of showing. We showcase names, very many names. Many people don't even know they exist in this journey of music. Right from Ajiwere, what is Ajiwere, what is Ajisari, up to this point that we find ourselves. And it gladdens my heart to see that all this thing is not something I can just sit in my sitting room and come up with without me calling other people, other participants to come in and join hands with me. So to some ill's mind, you don't want to mistake, you don't listen, or you don't look into what critics sometimes has to say. They might be there to use it as a tactic to change your mind. They might be there to finish you completely, not to be able to have anything to do. So at the end of the day, permit me to welcome one of our living fathers, who is just walking in. A man we hope one day a thing like this will be set for him too. I like you collecting right now. Thank you. Why we take a little time to welcome you? So let me continue. So we start the ball rolling at the Alliance and said, as I like Ebenezer was alive. I took up the challenge to be the one that puts many things together. I remember calling a meeting. That time, used my relationship with many young artists at that time. And with Alabi collecting on our side, like was Alabi Barrister, at first, we sat down somewhere at the Romans in the Bible to fashion out a way of coming together all of us. And that gave room to me getting home the next day to jumpstart what is now known as the running Fullman, Fuji Museum Association of Nigeria. I did the meeting on the document with my personal lawyer, Shola Bidam. I think Mr. Bidam was here. And Troy, my secretary, do the typing. And Quality Skill was the one supervising and giving some ideas where it's necessary. And we fashioned out the constitution. We checked on Nigerian constitution, Nigerian Bar constitution, and very many other constitutions of our association working and striving well to bring out something to fashion out a better future for our journey of music. That is my journey way back then. And after that, we came out with a document that we have to approve the corporate affairs to register and do very many things, which I did. While I was writing the constitution, I did not infuse any words. I did not coin any words. I did not put in dangerous words that would say Wasiu is taking credit away from Barrister, or Wasiu is doing any course, or is starting any new course in the course of Fiji music. Nothing was written. Nothing was incriminatory done to either fix myself. I'm only doing mine for the man I love. I want to surprise him all my life. I want to keep showing him reason why he should believe I am loyal to his person. I'm glad to call on my I have achieved that long ago. We register woman and it becomes what it is, the journey so far. Now, permit me also to thank the presence of my brother, Idris Olomide, the Temple Organization. The support and push you gave me over the years. The result of it, first stage, is what we are seeing now again. I thank you immensely, because God shall lead you, all your ways shall be open. Thank you so very much. In all, we have the next stage. The next stage is to get in touch with the leadership of our country, to have a proclamation, to have a declaration, to declare two things for us. To declare Sikiru Barrister is the man, and to also declare Fuji is the only indigenous African music that stays and comes to open up the new and the opportunity and the leadership and agreed. So let's all write the background, let everybody get in angry anywhere, let them rest assured that it is either you join the train now so that we will all take and share the credit in the end, or you continue to waste in there. I'm not going to beg anybody, but I can only speak to your mind so that you know, oh, you do if you all agree in that, Barrister has gone. One day Wasiu will go. Several of you two will go. But those who will leave this gentleman, this living for, will have a document. We have something. The people that started this country, that has gone, the record is there. The people that started America, that has gone, the record is there. I think America is on the 45th or 46th president. Someone started, he took #1 position. So that is what life is all about. The present president of Nigeria is not the first president of Nigeria. So leadership changes and life continues. So the only way you can make an impact in life is when you join hands with others to prepare a better book that will contain your name. Having successfully convinced the leadership that shall be proclaimed in a short while, I have the joy to announce to you such proclamation will be made, citation will be set, barrister will be set aside upon the fact that it's MFR. A day will be set aside to celebrate barrister and celebrate glory of Fuji, the music Fuji. And that will conclude my first stage of immortalizing the word, the Fuji, the joy of Fuji, and the man's glory barrister. Thank you very much. I give thanks to all our
things like Fuji Day, like Barry Day comes. We should be happy to embrace it. And one of those that will help us first push it in Lagos is here. Let me welcome the Honorable Commissioner for Tourism, Arts and Culture of the Center of Excellence and State of Aquatic Splendor, Princess Uzamat for Lashaya. A round of applause for our ladies and gentlemen. Editor of Ovation International, Mike Effiong, I greet you. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for us to start that which we have come to do. To give our first Ilorin, Nigeria. He was called to Nigerian bar in 2009 and has a master's in business administration from University of Ilorin, Nigeria. He's also into active practice, propagation, and sustenance of Nigeria dance culture. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure to welcome, to talk to us, one Nigerian that holds the singular honor of being the first
October at the Bayo of Lasoju, Chairman of Local Government Development Authority, President, Fiji Musician Association of Nigeria, Kuman, and the entire members, Fuji Opera, Temple, Gold Mine, the entire family members of Dr. Sikiru Ayinde, Barrister LFR, our highly respected fathers and mothers here present, distinguished members of the audience here present, gentlemen of the press, ladies and gentlemen, I say good afternoon and welcome to today's colloquium. With all sense of humility and respect, I need to thank the organizers for the invitation extended to me to be a part of this historic and important event. I'm excited standing in front of this audience, particularly our Fuji minstrels, who are great music ambassadors that we are proud of. Thank you, and I'm indeed grateful for the honor and privilege. Today's presentation reminds me of my teenage years, the earlier part of my life, when we were to listen with rapt attention to sonorous voice of Dr. Sikiru Ayinde Barrister as he releases new albums, which of course were filled with deep Yoruba language, tinted with riddles, metaphors, innuendos, lyrics that are direct or indirect and filled with great entertaining vibes. At that tender age, I had the privilege of attending numerous occasions like today's and others, where not only the singing prize of Alaji Agba was only displayed, but his adroit leg and body movements in action. I'm sure you have seen him dancing. As a matter of fact, his and that of King Sunny Ade are incomparable back then. All these reshaped my thinking and knowledge of music and dance as practice and profession, and clearly showed that it takes a committed soul to pitch tent in our creative world, which is an aspect of human existence. Unlike language that has syntax and semantics vary from one country and culture to culture, music has been said to be a universal language, as what seems to be a piece of good music in Angola and what seems to be a piece of bad music in Netherlands may remain bad music in Nigeria. The way Hallelujah Chorus by George Handel will sound in Taipei is the same way it will sound if played in Taraba, because sounds that are produced do not change much across cultures. So emotions and ideas can universally translated and understood. His Excellencies, invited guests, our music ambassadors here present, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, how I wished this presentation tagged Dr. Sikiru Ayinde Agbaje Lola Barista's impactful musical exploits. Yesterday, today, and tomorrow was being done or showcased at an occasion celebrating the musical icon of our time, either through the joyful celebration of his life birthday, not posthumous, or a significant achievement while he was still alive. We shall then be able to understand better the veracity, complexity, and enormity of the work he has done in his creation of narratives around the world of Were has transformed to Fuji music genre. My presentation today further affirmed that my youthful thought over 40 years ago, sitting consistently and patiently listening to Dr. Sikiru Ayinde Barista's albums has been released. His dexterity in his use of language, weaving of syllables in song, and blending same with admixture of instrumentations were extraordinary and amazing. Therefore, this session today will likely rest on his characterization using the 6 C's, 2 P's, and a T construct perceived through the prism of yesterday, today, and tomorrow. I quietly broken them down as follows. The first one is to look at his compositions and renditions, followed by creativity and innovation, to be followed by composition and delivery. The next one is culture promotion and socialization quotient. Then we'll look at currency and relevance, followed by crusades, which will highlight his moral, social, religious, political, and economic crusades embedded in his lyrics. Then we look at philosophy and thematic depth. Then followed by performance practice. Then we look at his travels as Nigerian ambassador, which further exposed Fuji to the outside world. For a broader perspective and deep understanding of his travails and triumphs in the installation of Fuji as a musical genre, let us take a peek into his bio. Mr. Fuji in proper context, content, and perspective. A peek into his bio. The late Ààrẹ Dr. Sikiru Ololade Adeyinka Ayinde Balogun, MFR, MLC, AIMA, undoubtedly was the creator and garrison commander in chief of Fiji music. a globally acclaimed title. He was born into the family of Agbade Salami at Ayeye in Ibadan and Salawe family of Lagos Island on February 9, 1948 at Iga, Salawe, but grew up in Mushin. In an interview he granted Consuel Television as posted on YouTube on 04/12/2018, he narrated that his father was a popular musician in Ibadan while he was growing up in Lagos. He attended his elementary education at Mushin Mission School, Odiolowo, Mushin, Lagos. He then proceeded to Yaba Polytechnic between 1961 and 1963. He became an Ajisari singer at tender age of 10 at Masawale area of Mushin. Masawale Sakara and Apala music were in vogue when he was growing up, particularly that of El Saka, Baba Olatuji Yusuf, and Haruna Ishola, which influenced his music career. Due to the religious and cultural factors, most of the Ajisari singers of his period either moved to genres like Apala, Sakara, or other professions. He was signed on at the age of 18 strictly as an Ajisari performer alongside Soliside, Idowu Animasham, and Morufu Akode. It was at this point that Osuru Akode. It was at this point that he was confronted with which name to call his own type of music, whether to call it Faji music. But he remembered that there was a mountain in Japan known as Mountain of Love, named after Fuji. He then decided to name his own after Fuji Mountain. His first record, single of 3 minutes, was released the same day King Sunny Ade released his in 1966 by the Niger Songs and African Song 2IC. He later joined the army in 1968 and fought at Onitsha front, where he was wounded and sent back to resettlement center at Oshodi. He then retired from the army in 1974 to become a full-time musician. In 1976, after gaining wide acclaim with his sixth album, Ori Mi Ewo Ni Se O, he made Fiji music more popular through dedication, love, and interest. He was of the belief that anything worth doing at all is worth doing well, and he excelled all through. His characterization, composition, and rendition. Dr. Sikiru Ayinde Barrister was highly gifted and talented. His voice modulation could be likened to that of hourglass drum in creation of pitch, and switching to different forms based on the knowledge and expertise of the handler. He had mastery of Yoruba language, Arabic knowledge, and that of other tribes in Nigeria in particular. He knew when to express such in composition and rendition. He was a genius, and not only a fantastic composer, but a great musician. His ability to modulate his voice to different pitches was peculiar to him. His recitation of verses from the Holy Quran guarantees a firm base he brought in from Ajiwere. Essentially, Alhaji Agba was on the spot composer who sang spontaneously and effortlessly, and one of his striking traits of character was his open adoration of his mother, himself, and his band boys. Barrister's high-pitched and silvery voice that he creatively modulated as he deemed fit for that moment, alongside his gripping style of eulogizing himself and his mother, magnetized me to him. I completely agree with one of my academic sons, Kolon Shofatai Adisa, when he said, and I quote, "I particularly envy Sikiru Ayende's genuine adoration of his mother, Aja Ode Sifao, where others could be pedestrian or not totally within. A submissive listener who feel the passion, the pain, and the joy of mommy's boy attempting to envelope his love fully addressed to his mom in just a song. That was the man, Barrister. At any time, never he is an inexhaustive affection for his mother. For every time the late Mistro mentioned his mom's first name, Odere, in a song, his voice amazingly pitched differently with the support, extraordinary instruments that supports it every time. Suffice to say that the love of a son for his mom is powerfully different, unexplainable, and incomparable. Eventually, a son is a star. The love becomes even enigmatic. Or is there any Odere anywhere else in this world that you may have known other than Ajia Sifao Odere? Odere? I greatly agree with his submission that Mama was all in love to Dr. Sikiru Ayende. His creativity and innovation. He was a fantastic creator and had flair for innovative ideas. For instance, he introduced the application of piano to Fuji music in performance. It really amplified the sound and performance as demonstrated in Fuji Garbage series. We know it has series. The display of adaptation of different musical formats and instrumentation kept him at the top till he died. In addition, he leveraged on visual power by having a video release of his songs where he demonstrated his skill of dance, stepping with permanent dancers, interacting or displaying or explaining whatever he's singing to the audience. His composure and delivery. In performance or through his albums as released, he had grips and control of the moments. As he gets onto the stage for performance, the atmosphere changes. He was confident of himself and straight. He had powerful delivery strategies which his band boys and girls understood. At times, he can talk sing or pre-sing for a long period or of time before the real actions commences. On the other hand, if his band boys overrun him, he brings them back stylishly. And you need to meet a while ago. Maybe the body is just here a while ago. Come down. Here, he could as well take on the lineage of his idea. For example, one who is from Olikoyi family, or Tapa origin, or Istana, or himself sometimes. For example, he said, Elebu nini, say you mola midi ebu nini, he was trying to let them know that Elebu nini, Another example was his humor in action. And it's your Ankara, maybe there is an occasion whereby we have Anko, and if you don't have Anko, they won't serve you. Until Ankara will get what a humor. Culture promotion and socialization question. Culture is the totality of human life. As part of this promotion of culture, it's increased different cultures of the world without barriers. In fact, he ascribed total respect for culture, particularly when singing the praises of kings, lineages, or highly praised individuals. Sometimes, if Alaki Sikiru Ayende Barrister sees a king, he will remove his cap and kneel down. What a humility in display. Sometimes, he will remove his cap, kneel down for his kings while he sings praises of such personalities as a mark of respect as directed by the Yoruba culture. In an interview in 1988, he confirmed that he had 25 chieftaincy titles from different parts of Nigeria. Currency and relevance. His albums address relevant and significant aspects of the economy, well-being, moral, sport, current and contemporary issues. It was to guide and correct anomalies among the people or to address topical issues. Barrister built his brilliance at singing Fuji on philosophy and current affairs. Consequently, his song remains relevant from the time of release till today. For example, his cosmopolitan personality, like in many other tracks, surfaced in 1990 violin titled Extravaganza, where he noted that his music is an artistic composition and distinctive sound, from mentioning the names, famous and highly placed places in Europe and America, such as London, Killington, Britain, and so on, to his mentioning of eminent people and luxury brands of his time, such as Polo Rossi, Maradona, Ludmilla, Jacquard, Christian Dior, 29 karat, Dyson hairstyle, also, etc. One cannot but agree that Sir was cosmopolitan and current. Crusades. His music dwelled largely on moral, social, religious, political, and economic crusades as embedded in lyrics. All these were employed to achieve changes. A religious fanatic of Dr. Sikiru Ayinde Barrister's song will understand the rationale behind the Alhaji Agba's opening lines in his track titled Extravaganza, where he noted, and I quote, Agbewade, our Lord, please don't mind I'm not alive to what he was not needless pontificating. Rather, he was sure of his brilliance at what he was doing. He was not needless just speaking Yoruba or creating Yoruba proverbs, but to affirm his actions. Indeed, he was truly the Fuji commandant, as he claimed. Among many social crusades he championed, one stood out in terms of foresightedness and evergreenness, family planning. The economy was not in its bad shape when Barrister advocated for smaller and manageable family sizes, so we don't end up bleeding cows or breeding cows, dogs, thieves, and other social miscreants in our society. Our refusal to heed the early warning signal flagged off by Dr. Sikiru Ayinde Barrister is reality of an ubiquitous presence of such elements in our urban areas today. The prophet in him saw it coming, sounded a note of warning, but we failed to heed. Had we listened to him, issues of insecurities of lives and properties wouldn't have been the way it is now. Again, many of his songs were directed at ruling class, counseling them to have the love of other people, particularly the downtrodden at heart. Barrister gave a voice to the voiceless and advocated societal changes and betterment in his musical exploits, his philosophy and thematic depth. One of the strongest philosophy of approach was his ability to balance the religious sects in order to appreciate his type of music at the beginning, and he was to maintain his stance till he died. He had Islamic background and well-versed in Arabic language, which forms his normal opening of any performance or album. But he was quick to extend such to Christianity and traditional belief system. It was relayed that when Barrister decided to take a purely religious sound to the social circuit. He met a solid brick wall of resistance. After performing for fellow soldiers and their close friends, he got his big breakthrough when a well-known socialite on Martin Street, Alhaji Gagibi, decided to give him a chance at a party that only the caliber of Alhaji Haruna Ishola and Yusuf Olatuji were engaged to perform. Because Dr. Sikiru Ayinde Barrister knew that he had very slim chance to impress this high-end socialite, he decided to play the songs of popular artists of that time in his own way, using his nuances. This ensured that no matter your preference, Barry will cover it, sometimes better than the original version. He reverted to his strategy as 80-20 principles, 80% covered songs and 20% original composition, a system adopted by most of the upcoming musicians till today. Performances practice. Alhaji Agba's performance style usually opens up with praises of the Almighty Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala and gradually slide into personal praises and then the initial dance. He had a way of regulating the tempo, even control the dancing crowd in front of him. He would just tell them, so that we can just create a breathing space for him. One of his winning strategies is the fact that he held tenaciously to the music lovers without any discrimination or segregation or class differential. He related with the high and low, the professional and the ordinary citizens, irrespective of the status of such beings. He was a man of the people. In performance, he randomly picked any suitable method of singing, either proverbial, praise singing, prayers, and others, depending on the audience. For example, he used Owuro Olawa to preach using Akupo Gagara, to capture the living life from adolescence to adulthood, where we crawl using both the legs and hands when we were very young, and as strolling to graduate to using 2 legs as adults, with the introduction of the 3rd leg at old age. His travels as Nigerian ambassador, which further exposed Fuji to the outside world. He was widely traveled, locally, nationally, and internationally. He was on standby and featured among his local communities, entertaining his fans depending on the occasion, ranging from housewarming, wedding receptions, chieftains' title takings, coronation ceremonies, and others. In addition, he embarked on several international tours and got series of awards, with particular mentioning in US in 1979, UK, Scotland, France, 1993, Germany, Amsterdam, Switzerland, US, 94, Canada, among others. In conclusion, when Sikiru Ayinde Barrister was alive, he was both a star and god of music, Fiji music. When he died, he remained a star, and at the same time, he turned an ancestor in the pantheon of all time. Greater musicians who are distributing this world like colossi that they were, Alhaji Aga had the voice, the looks. He was commendably confident, and he had gripping and hair-friendly sound. Of course, today's event and several others being organized in his honor within and outside Nigeria clearly demonstrated or evidenced his sojourn on earth and is qualified to borrow Julius Caesar's word, Beni, Bidi, Fishi. I came, I saw, and I come back to our life. Recommendation. His Excellencies, our great ambassadors of music industry, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Sikiru Ayinde Barrister represents today great numbers of our fallen heroes, particularly in the creative world, who left the shore of this world without deserved honor. Honor is superlative in the superlative sense. If not for the magnanimity of the organizers of this event and other ones, in about 10-20 years' time, the generations born then might not be privy to know this talented and enigmatic personality. Having been duly recognized nationally by the federal government of Nigeria while alive with the award of MFR, I call on the state governors of Lagos and Oyo to assist in facilitating and constructing a gigantic destination Fuji in honor of Dr. Sikiru Ayinde Barrister MFR, having done you honor by projecting your culture and taking your names and placing them on global maps. Ayẹyẹ in Ibadan and Salawa in Lagos. I strongly believe that such projects will generate revenues for the state and the entire Fuman. It will be a tourist destination. Once again, I thank the organizers of this event for the invitation and everyone being here for the rapt attention. Long live Fuman, long live Nigeria, and Sikiru Ayinde Barrister.
Ladies and gentlemen, Professor Chehili Uchuadi, can I have a round of applause for you? Thank you very much. I've been told to quickly announce that the owner of this car, blue, is a Benz and it's blue. A 105 GE. You are parked on the road and somebody has hit your car. Please go to it. You are parked on the road and somebody has served you breakfast. So please go to your car. Thank you very much. I'd like to welcome. I'm indeed very glad that the government of Lagos State is heavily represented here. And one of the recommendations of the good prof is that a befitting structure should be constructed as a form of Fuji Museum in honor of this great man. I'm sure they will take it back to the governor. The Honorable Commissioner for Information and Strategy, Malaika is here. Can I have a round of applause for him? Honorable Commissioner for Housing that will supervise the build in Congo is here. A round of applause for him. We have recognized him earlier. Now, the people that will release the money, the ministry that is holding the money, the Honorable Commissioner for Tourism, Arts and Culture, Pharmacist Princess Uzamat Akimili Yusuf is here. If you talk to her and he's still shaking, take the special advisor, Honorable Solomon Bolu, along to him, and he will not say no. But if at the end of the day you are still having issues, take Omo Yoruba representing the constituency of Isolo along. If Oga is still not agreeing, take the second constituency through Bayo Olashoju. If Oga does not agree finally, because I don't like him asking me for favors, you can call me finally, then I will tell you what to do. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to welcome also the former Honorable Commissioner for Tourism, Arts and Culture, as well as Information and Strategy of the Center of Excellence and State of Democratic Splendor, Honorable Steve Elenium. Are you ready? A round of applause for him. I cannot welcome this man enough. I'd like to welcome again our father, Kevin Kwara himself, Chief Killington Aguilar. A round of applause for him. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, is the first colloquium in honor of Sikiru Ayinde Barrister. I heard people correcting the man saying Salawe over and over and over. You're 2 minutes sharp. I will also be singing a Barrister song. I've not made up my mind which one to sing. because I know quite a lot. I remember when Alhaji Barrister and I used to sit down together to write all those songs back in the days, but me for Nipe Ragari. Any of the songs? Especially welcome a personal friend of the man we're celebrating, my own father, a great African, a professor of music himself, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, a precursor of culture and tradition, evangelist Ebenezer Obi Fabi. Can I have a round? Gentlemen of the camera, please take your shots, take your shots. This is the last time I'll be announcing this. I hope you have insurance. I bet 105 GE, Mercedes-Benz Blue. Somebody hit your car, please go there. Well, gentlemen of the press, thank you. Thank you, thank you. You have allowed this man to take 4 minutes down. And the song is all about questions. So ladies and gentlemen, it's 2 minutes, start again. Gentlemen, what's the I